Are you ready to take your child's manners to the next level?
Manners don't happen on their own. They are taught and they are caught.
Thou shalt love the Lord thy God. These words shall be in thine heart.
Teach them diligently unto thy children.
Talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way.
Bind them for a sign upon thine hand.
They shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
Write them upon the posts of thy house.
This is Families of Faith. Well, thank you for joining us on another episode of Families of Faith. My name is Tim. My wife Stacey is with me, and we've got a very mannerly episode today, don't we?
We do. We're trying. We're calling this one Next Level Manners.
So this is a parenting topic today.
That's right.
I know some wives were immediately thinking, oh, good, this is advice from my husband.
We're thinking for the children this time.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, what parent doesn't want their kid to have good manners?
Right. But children are not born with manners. They have to be taught. At least ours weren't born with manners.
We can speak with authority on 4.
That's right.
Well, and they have to be taught, and they also have to be caught.
That's right.
Which is the best way of teaching.
Mm-hmm. By example. So then that means we have to remember our manners. And oh yeah, what are good manners? And I know there's cultural differences here. And so that's something to keep in mind as you're in different parts of the world. That will play a factor with manners. But the reason for the title, Next Level Manners, is kind of silly maybe, but for our children, we've been trying to teach them manners, haven't we, honey? We're trying.
Yes.
And when we tell them they need to work on a certain manner, or, we say, we're going to teach you next level manners. That means you're not starting from scratch. You got some under your belt, but we're just going to teach you the next ones wherever they're at.
That typically brings a groan from our boys now, are the ones that have especially been hearing it's time for the next level of manners.
Right. Well, and the girls need it too.
They do.
Yes.
But the boys are older, so I guess we're reaching that stage first.
That's true.
Let's lay this groundwork, though, because you mentioned that these manners will change from culture to culture. I'm going to get a little picky here. I think etiquette changes from culture to culture.
Okay.
What's considered essential and proper. But manners is how you treat another human being. And at the basis of that is selfishness versus selflessness. So I don't know if you agree with that.
Honey, I agree. This is good. Keep going.
We should write that down, huh?
I like it.
What are we really trying to do when we teach manners? Is it just to physically hold the door open, or to let someone else go first in line, or whatever that action may be? I mean, those are good things. They're important things. They'll help you get through life, but
that's a great point. It's not just for what it's making you look like.
Yeah, whether it's the person or the parents. I mean, a lot of times if the parents are honest, we want our kids to behave well because we want to look good.
These are great points you're bringing
up. We
up.
actually talked about that a few episodes back on vanity parenting. But why do we worry about, or why do manners matter at all?
Yes.
It's because they reflect a character.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be very concerned with our child's character.
Yes.
As parents.
The preciousness of others matters. So, yeah, thank you. This is a great way to start this topic, because it's not about what it makes us look like as parents, or even what our kids look like. Oh, they're such good kids because they have such good manners. No, that's not the point at all. It's to think about the preciousness of others and be thoughtful, unselfish human beings.
Yeah. So we're going to look at just some practical tips today, right? On how to help bring your kids up to the next level of manners.
That's right. So that requires educating ourselves as parents, first of all. I know I had to do some brushing up on some manners, like at the table and so forth. And I think that's where I was coming from with the cultural differences. I think in some cultures, you're supposed to leave a little bit on your plate or something. I don't know. There's a little nuances in everywhere you live, but we had to brush up for the dinner table. I know that because let's be honest. Does everything have to be formal all the time? No, I don't think so. And our kids definitely don't want it to be. We've tried a few times really having really strict manners at the dinner table, and they're like, can't we just eat sometimes without worrying about everything? So no, I don't think this is about being formal all the time, but it took some brushing up on what is appropriate at the table, because we don't always set the table real fancy. And
right.
Sometimes that's good to learn.
So it doesn't always matter exactly where the spoon and the forks go, even though there is technically a proper way to do that. Mm-hmm. But it's always wrong to lunge for the bread rolls first, right?
Right.
And maybe that's first level manners.
Right.
I don't know where the line gets drawn.
Well, exactly. Well, it just depends on the kids. And that's why the next thing that they're learning, because you might feel like, I have tried to teach my child not to lunge for the rolls over and over, but it's just not happening. But they're holding the door open. So it's just wherever they're at, whatever's getting caught and taught and sinking in, just start there.
So let's go to the holding the door open, since you mentioned that.
Okay.
So let's say, for sake of illustration, that getting your son to hold the door open for others is a great feat and accomplishment, right? You have now arrived at level 1.
Okay.
But the second level, for instance, could be getting them to smile while they do it and to acknowledge the person that is passing in front of them.
Yes. Not open like a robot, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I did it. Check.
So again, it brings us down to the foundation of manners. Why does it matter?
Yes.
Because you want to make someone else feel important and to feel special and to feel like they matter to you.
They matter. They do matter. Exactly.
So holding the door while you're thumbing through Facebook sends a different message than it does holding the door and smiling and greeting the person and welcoming them.
Good point. Yeah, or opening the door with a frown on their face, like we were told we had to do this.
I'm setting a really high bar for myself right now. I have to remember these things.
I was going to say the same thing. We're right in the middle of this. Can you tell? We're trying real hard to teach manners, but it's a process. My husband always reminds me of that. Parenting is a process. It's not going to happen overnight.
Well, and what we mentioned at the very beginning a few moments ago is that these manners, as in many things with life and parenting, they're caught more than taught. Now, the catching is a form of teaching, and I think I said it's maybe the most effective form of teaching, but it really is true that if you want your children to value something, they need to see it in your life, and they need to see it modeled in your life, and they need to see that it's helping make you a more pleasant person to be around.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's really the most important thing they can take away from this is we need to show manners to our children and to others so that they can catch the idea by watching us. And this does take thinking and praying about our own lives and how we are.
So how would a person get educated on what manners they want to focus on?
Well, they could look for books. You might get a little overwhelmed at some of the books that there are to wade through on manners, but also just get your own pen and paper down and start jotting down categories of things that are important to you as a parent to teach. Like something coming to mind at the moment is you go into Walmart, you get your cart, you go in, right? You come out, you unloaded your groceries and you're ready to just jump in the car and go. What do you do with that cart? Do you leave it right out there so that it can roll and hit somebody's car? Or do you park it where it's supposed to be parked? You know, that's thinking about others. That's manners. That's thoughtfulness. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times as humans, and especially kids, children, we're selfish. We're in a hurry. You don't think about. So it has to be something we think about. Just what would happen if I left this cart out? It would roll into someone's car and dent it or, rub the paint off, whatever.
So keeping a list or making a basic list, and don't get overwhelmed, which is very easy to do on something like this, because you look at where your child's at right now and where you want them to get at some point in life. And it can seem very daunting and overwhelming. But take one or two things at a time and start working on those.
Yes, good point. Until those are perfected, and then work on some other things. Another thing to think about is to take advantage of teachable moments. So this can help you in figuring out your categories and the areas you want to work on. And, let's just talk about some of those. At home, we've got the table. That one comes up more than once a day, right? We're sitting down, and how do you interact at the table? Is sitting with your child going to make the next person get sick because they're scarfing it down and making unpleasant noises and different things, reaching, grabbing, So the dinner table, that's a very good teachable time.
And the thing about teachable moments is that they take time.
That's right.
And that can be a real challenge for us in many situations because, we're all so busy and you're rushed or the setting's not right where you feel comfortable addressing something. But to really take advantage of those moments, and they really usually are fleeting, they have to be addressed right there or very soon afterwards. Otherwise, you lose the opportunity to effectively talk about it. But it does take a commitment of time.
Good point. And I think it's a good time to say, do this as much as possible at home. You don't want to embarrass your child when it comes to learning manners, because they could really get turned off very quickly to the idea of manners if they're scolded in front of other people and it embarrasses them. So as much as possible, these kinds of things need to happen at home first. It's a good practice ground.
So when you said that, I immediately thought of a family we knew quite a few years ago that had young kids. We didn't have children yet, but we were planning to soon. And we were very impressed because this family with 4 young children, those children were able to sit through church service. And they didn't have the bag of toys around them. And not that that's evil if you're doing that, but they were able to just sit there and listen like an adult. And you asked, how did you teach your children to do that? And what was the answer she gave?
Yeah, that's a good point. That left an impression on us as we're trying to figure out how to teach and train our kids when we had them. She said, I told my children that they have 6 days a week for themselves or for, their own schedule. They can give 1 hour to the Lord, and therefore to her as well, because she wants to be fed and listen. And she wants all of the other people in there to be able to listen as well. So that was important to her. You can just give 1 hour a week. And
but where did she practice that?
Yes, a good question. Okay, at home.
That's right.
With daily worship. And yeah, they learned how to sit during that time. And so that helped them learn how to do that.
So back to the point you were making a moment ago, the place to practice many of these things is at home, where correction can take place. It's not in public. Your child doesn't feel called out in front of other people.
Yes.
And there are so many opportunities at home in so many areas of manners to practice.
So let's just name off a few of those just to get their pen moving and writing down some categories. So we talked about the dinner table.
How to leave the toilet lid when you're finished. Or how to use the facilities.
Yes. Okay. We have to stop here for a quick second. I love this. I learned this from another family. That mother told her boys, especially, if you respect your sister and mother, you will sit on the toilet in the house. And that always stuck with me because I thought, so I've tried to tell my boys the same. In public, they might get a disease if they sit, Okay, that's maybe different. Just be careful and try to be cleanly.
When you're in somebody's home, though, or at your house.
Sit down, boys. That's our rule for our boys. Yes. Okay, good. So the bathroom, even the sink area, we have this one bathroom in our house the sink drives you crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah. It doesn't hold the water very well. And
it seems to just leak
It's always
and
splashing out.
splashing out. Yeah, maybe this the way the sink is and dribbling down the wall onto the floor is a real trial.
Someone's going to listen to this and say, well, change your vanity out, right?
It is on the list, maybe just down a ways. But yeah, you've talked to the kids
How do
about
you
this.
leave that, right? Do you just leave stuff sprayed around, or are you going to take 10 seconds and wipe around,
Right.
It makes a big difference.
And you have been really good, honey, at showing by example. Because many times I'll see you come out of the bathroom, you're going to get paper towels and you're cleaning it up.
Oh, it's because it's about driven me crazy. But
Well, that's good manners. So leaving the bathroom nicely.
how about just conversations between family members?
Yes. Okay, one big one we've dealt with plenty is not interrupting. Some of our kids, and maybe us too, maybe me the most, always has something to share, something exciting, and we can hardly hold it in. And so we can interrupt too much.
It's very important, so people need to hear it.
Well, not to interrupt though,
That's
right?
right.
So we're trying to teach that.
Yeah.
And what other ways can you think of in conversing with one another that's showing manners besides interrupting?
Well, not getting frustrated or angry quickly. So,
Listening. Well,
listening, but just letting things roll off of you as well. Because, from time to time, one of our children will say something that might be intentionally provoking somebody else.
okay, that's a good
So
hypothetical scenario.
how do you as a sibling respond when that kind of barb is thrown at you, right?
Right.
And those
So-
are manners. There's manners on both sides
I
of
was
that.
going to say that. So that's for provoking. The provoker needs to learn manners, not to provoke, and the provokee not to be easily provoked. Actually, the Bible says that we
right.
should not be easily provoked.
Okay, so teachable moments, a lot of them happen at home. Obviously, they're going to happen at other places as well, but just try to have that mindset as you go through your day that, well, let me back up. Those teachable moments usually are aggravating because our natural response is, my child has not performed like I wanted them to here. But taking a step back and remembering, okay, here's an opportunity to teach.
And maybe I've never taught it to them before.
Maybe they've never seen me do that.
Right.
So anyways, those
Okay.
teachable moments.
Good. Just a couple other places. The bedroom. I know for our children, they have a roommate. They share a room. So the bedroom cannot be kept like a slob to think about the other one in the room, right?
So there's not an invisible line and you can do whatever you want on your half.
Yeah, this has to be taught for sure. And also doorways. We talked a little bit about that. Letting somebody else go first, not barging through, opening the door for somebody, car doors, other building doors. The kitchen is a huge place. Offering help in the kitchen. One person can slave away and take a long time, or we can all pitch in and work together. Pushing your chair in when you're done, clearing your stuff off the table, all of that.
I think what I'm hearing you say,
Okay.
practice good communication skills here.
Okay.
What I'm hearing you say is that anytime we are interacting with another human being, there is the opportunity to practice manners.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So don't limit it to just these. Every area of your house probably, and anytime you're interacting with somebody else.
Okay.
Good point.
You can also role play. And this probably falls more under the teaching, direct teaching. And sometimes it's very helpful for our children to actually see what something looks like. Either what they're looking like and how they're coming across when they're not at the next level quite yet.
Yes.
Or what it should look like to get them to that second
You're
level.
really good at this. And our kids love it. They do. They love it. And it brings a little fun to it, so we can over exaggerate both instances, not having good manners. Like, give an example. What have we
Oh, you're
role
putting me on
played?
the spot now.
Okay, well, we did some oral reports for school.
Yeah,
You were
book
trying
reports.
to show them how to walk to the podium, you know?
How to present yourself. Yeah, so I exaggerated a bad way and a good way to do it.
Right, right. And then the kids can have fun with that.
But there is a distinction here. Role playing is an artificial situation. And so this is why I'm saying it falls under the category of teaching, and that doesn't make it bad, right? But it's not really catching. Your kids are going to catch it from you when they watch you do it in real life.
Yeah, good point.
You need both. Teach it and then model it, and your kids will catch it. But sometimes they do need that direct, exaggerated example
Yeah, to help them.
really drive the point home.
Right, exactly. Okay, here's another thing that we can do, and that is to plan some formal events. You know, there are going to be those instances now and then in a child's life where they're in a formal setting. So, restaurants. I know some restaurants aren't formal, but restaurants, holidays, banquets, concerts, these kinds of events that they might find themselves in.
Yeah, and this is I think a tougher, this is an issue that is getting more and more difficult as time goes on because I think by and large our society is drifting away from formality. And it's not all bad, but we are forgetting from generation to generation what it means to go to dress up, even at church, right? To dress up, to be formal for a little bit, to act a certain way. We're just kind of losing that in general.
Okay, so what are you saying, honey? We should let it go, or should we try?
No, I'm saying fight against the current.
Okay, good.
It's a good thing for, like you're saying, for our children to learn how to navigate in different environments and in a very formal setting. Even if that's not how you live your life most of the time, that's fine.
We are not saying that they have to become formal people all the time. That's not the point here. But
that'll come across very artificial as well.
Right. No. But what if they did go to a concert, for example?
And what kind of concert we're talking about? Kind of a classical type concert.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Okay. That's the only kind we should be seen in, right? No.
Going to church.
But just say for a concert, the etiquette, what happens? I mean, those are long concerts sometimes. And what if they need to go to the restroom and they can't wait? You know, what happens?
Well, you leave, but then you don't come back in until the particular piece of music is stopped.
But that has to be taught. They don't automatically know that. And a lot of people don't automatically know that nowadays. So yeah, and even in church setting, if you have to exit quickly for reasons nobody else needs to know about, just stay out until there's a good time to slip in where it's not interrupting.
Yeah, and another example that's probably applies to all of us or should from time to time. How do you greet somebody when you meet them?
Oh, yes.
You know, again, we're a pretty informal society. It's gotten common to do the fist bump and whatever, and you know, what's up, bro? And that's fine if you're with friends. But teaching your children how to look somebody in the eye, to smile at them, and to give a firm handshake is incredibly important.
This weekend, I met a young man. His mom was right there. I mean, I don't know how old he was, maybe upper teens, something like that. But he looked at me, gave me a handshake, and it was one of those good, firm, manly handshakes. And I said, I was like, good for you. You know, I don't like to get a handshake from a guy that feels like a limp fish. No fun, right? He had a good, firm handshake. He looked me in the eyes, was very respectful. And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
So we're trying to teach our boys. But yeah, the natural instinct for some of our children that are very shy is to, you know, crawl behind us and put their head down, and this is a stranger. You know, it's like, no, this is a person that deserves to be looked at and acknowledged, and, you know. This
is actually one of the most important ways that you can show somebody else respect, is how you look at them, how you address them. Do you pay attention when they're talking, and do you just give them that attention, even if it's for 3 or 4 seconds as you're going in a building and you're greeting them. that's next level.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so another important thing to keep in mind is start where your children are at. And don't make them feel bad if they haven't learned certain things.
It's your fault if they haven't learned it. So don't make them feel bad.
Right. And maybe even if you feel like they should be getting this down pat by now, just bear with it. And consistency will win the race.
Patience. Yes.
Yes. So start where your child is at.
Okay. So the golden rule.
Yes.
What does Jesus say about
Yes. Let's look at it.
how we treat others?
Does Jesus care about manners? Let's look. I've got Matthew 7:12. Maybe you can get the next one. It says, therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. That is the golden rule.
That's right. And Luke 6, verse 31 says, as you would that men should do to you, do you also to them likewise. So it brings us back to our first original point here. You know, what is the purpose of manners? It's they reflect a character, and they reflect the importance of the other person or the other people that you are around.
Yeah. The Lord knows your heart, whether you're doing it to look good or whether it's for the preciousness of others that you're thinking of. So hopefully you can instill the love for other people and the importance to think about them above your child.
That selflessness. Most bad manners come back to impatience, selfishness, getting easily irritated, these kinds of things. And as you work and pray for the character development of your children, these manners will come along as well.
Yes. Amen. And most importantly, we need to keep working on our manners, right? And so that they can catch these from how we're acting.
That's right. Well, if you'd like to watch other episodes, you can go to pathwaytoparadise.org and search for Families of Faith there, or go to YouTube and search for Families of Faith podcast, and you can see this as well as our other episodes. We thank you for joining us today and encourage you to continue building your family of faith every single day. You have God's promise that He'll help you do this, and we hope to see you in the next episode. Families of Faith is a production of Pathway to Paradise Ministries. Find us online at www.pathwaytoparadise.org.